me today?
This is dragon tail. At least we've always been told it's dragon tail. When we actually saw it the first time, we went to some kind of nature preserve in Picayune, Mississippi, and they were selling it. I don't know what for, unless people are going to put it in their pond. This is standing water. You'll never see this stuff growing anywhere unless there's standing water. So, well, it could be just mud. It doesn't have to be like above the ground, but the water has to be all the way up to the ground. But anyways, if you get a closer look at this stuff, these little flowers on here kind of look like I guess you could call it dragon tail, but a lot of places call it lizard tail. And the cool thing about this is that it's a ground cover, and that means that this stuff here, when it's growing thick like this, nothing else can grow through because it makes so much shade for anything that's trying to get a start that it kind of chokes it out. And when we first moved here, this wasn't here. But this is my trick for ground covers. It works for this for a ground cover, it works for ferns for a ground cover. It may not work where you're at if you don't have these particular plants. But when we first got here, this was all just piles of stickers, briars, brambles, whatever you want to call them, and bushes, things you could not walk through. And so in the fall, I came out here and cut everything down. Well, the next year, that stuff had a hard time getting started, but this stuff did not. This stuff always comes back real easy and really quick, but that other stuff still had enough energy in its roots that it came back eventually. And I guess about once every 4 years, we have enough of a drought that I can get a mower back here and cut this, and every time I cut it, it comes back thicker and healthier, and the brambles are getting to the point where eventually they won't even come back at all because they won't get enough light to get a good start. This stuff beats it. That's a ground cover. That's what a ground cover is good for. If you've got any kind of land and you don't want to be mowing the lawn, then you need to get something like this growing that looks good without being mowed. And it still allows you to pass through because this stuff will not grab your legs like a bunch of sticker vines.
You said you want to show me some other stuff. Let's go do that. What are you showing me now?
This is another kind of ground cover. Of course, one of the most important ground covers out here is this leaf litter.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that's all you need, but I think it's pretty to have this green stuff in here. And I did this just like I did those lizard tails, is in the fall, when everything is dying back, just run over everything. And all of those plants that are dependent on coming back from the roots, they're gonna struggle. These ferns, they'll come back from the roots, but they do that anyway. And on top of that, when you're running through here, mulching up this leaf litter and mulching up these ferns, you'll actually be throwing out what the ferns use for seeds. They don't have seeds like a regular plant. They have spores like a mushroom. They're like microscopic. And so when you're running over all this, you're actually spreading the ferns and you're mulching up the ground that the ferns are going to grow in. And so...
I hear an owl.
Listen. Sometime you can hear the mate respond to him, her, whoever that is.
I don't hear it now.
I'll be quiet if something else makes noise out here. Usually there'll be an owl right up in one of these trees right here.
Wow.
And if you come back when that one's talking, that one will start talking and it'll scare you. Well, anyway, getting back to this, every time you come through here and cut it all up, it makes the ferns have a better chance of coming back, and it gives everything else a worse chance of coming back. See, like, this is like what do you call those things, a sweet gum tree. Over here is a loblolly bay, I think. The only way I can tell a loblolly apart from a sweet bay is by smelling leaves. Yes, this is a loblolly bay. This is a hickory tree. But anyways, this here fern, I don't know the name of this fern, but if you look at it, it's like all the little leaves are actually kind of connected. So this whole bunch of leaves is really one leaf, but that's just these. These are on dry land. If you go off of this edge over here, Yeah, once you come off of that hill and you're in this low spot, then we got these kind of ferns, which these are called chain ferns. And if you look at them, it's like the whole thing is leaves, and they're all connected to the stem. So the stem isn't like a stem with stems and leaves on the stems. It's just part of the leaf, because you can see it's got these little wings on the side. And I think it's why they call it chain fern, just because like the leaves are all chained together. Over here, these are called royal ferns over here. And it's the same thing. It's like these leaves are connected to one another, so that the stem is actually, this whole thing is like one leaf, and then you got them all growing off of a main stem. That's a royal fern. And they can get up to about this tall, and they will before the season's over with. And look, these ferns, they make a fiddlehead, just like fiddlehead ferns they got up in Washington State or something, but you cannot eat these. You know, up in, people up north, in the Northwest, they look forward to these things making flowers, the fiddleheads, because that's like a delicacy. But these things are just toxic, and it doesn't matter if you boil them, they're still toxic. They're nasty, nasty, bitter.
Where are we going now?
I know there's another fern over here somewhere. I want to show it off if I can find it. I always have trouble finding it, even though I know it's out here. Okay, right there until I locate this thing. Like every year when I cut all these ferns down, this one, I don't cut it down because I'm always worried about harming it, because I don't know if it takes to this treatment like these other ferns. And it's the only one I've ever seen here. And this one's growing in the wet spot. It's probably, like if I was to be able to go through all of the woods that's out here, I could probably find more of these on other properties. But look at this one here. It's like, not only is the stem without any leaves, there's no like sides to it, wings on these stems. And if you go down, these don't have wings on it either. It's like each leaf is an individual leaf. On some of those other ferns, you know, it's like here's this stuff. You can see there's a big difference in them, but they're both in the same family. But this one here I really like because it's the only one I got. And so I'm always hopeful that another one will pop up nearby, but this is the only one I've seen since I've been coming out here for years. And I'm not telling people to go out and buy ferns or buy lizard tail for a ground cover, because I don't know that there's too many places where you can do that. But basically, if you're mowing the lawn or mowing the woods or whatever, if you just leave your woods alone for 2 or 3 years, you can kind of go through and do a survey of what you got and decide what you might want to use for a ground cover. Because some things are going to be obviously good candidates for that, and some are going to be bad, and then kind of feel out what it's going to take to get that to happen. All I really do is I come out in the fall, I mow all of this stuff down, and then all of the brambles and stuff struggle the next year to get out of the ground. But these ferns pop right back up, and they're making so much shade now that we're getting very little vines and brambles now.
Well, I think we better get to the house. I think I just felt a raindrop.
Yeah, okay, we'll see. We'll see you. Bye, y'all.
Bye.